Hi everyone, it's Lynn Dion here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I wanted to show you a couple of ornaments I made. I'm going to show you one in the video, and if you stick around till the end, I'll show you a second one that I created. So let's go ahead and get started. For dies today, I'm going to be using this beautiful snowflake die. You get two dies in the set, and you can see that one fits right inside the other. And these are the Sizzix Thinlits from Holtz. And you can see there that you can layer these snowflakes together. And this is called the Stunning Snowflake. For paper, I'm using the Lawn Fawn Sparkle cardstock in the pixie dust, which is a 100-pound weight, and also the Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock, also 100-pound. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut these. So I'm going to die cut 3 of each of those snowflakes. 1 from the Sparkle cardstock and 2 from the regular Strathmore Bristol Smooth. So I'm running those through the machine quite a few times just to make sure that, because these are so detailed, I want to make sure that everything gets die cut. So you can see that particular snowflake there gives you a little snowflake inside it as well. So you actually get about 4 different snowflakes out of this. So you'll see here from the larger one, I'm also going to get another snowflake out of that one as well. Now on this one, you can pop out all these little pieces here, and this will give us all the detail to the snowflake. Just keep in mind that you could also come back with a different color cardstock and insert that particular snowflake there inside the other one. Maybe you want to die cut it out of some blue or pinks or reds. That would be really pretty. So you can see here you get a beautiful collection. I'm just going to use the smaller snowflake and the larger one here. And I'm using my Gina K Connect glue to attach these together. And you do want a nice strong adhesive here. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes here to apply little dots of glue all over the snowflake. And I'm going to go ahead and line these 2 up. Now, when I'm lining these up, I kind of bend the snowflake a little bit and then start at one area and just kind of work my way around here. And I also want to show you another little tip that I use. I use my tweezers, especially when something is very detailed like this is. And I just use the tweezers to kind of squeeze those areas right into line. So I'll just find an area where I can kind of pull that in. You'll see me doing this here. And I can just kind of pull that in where it needs to be and make sure that everything is lined up. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach the third one, but first I'm going to let that sit and dry. So I just placed my Misty positioner on top of it. Anything that you have, a book would be good. Just let it dry flat for a few minutes before you attach the next layer. But I did want to show you here how beautiful this would be if you layered this right up. You could add this to the snowflake that's already there. So we've got some nice thick embellishments now. Now I'm going to grab a circle die, and this is from my nesting circle dies. This is We Are Memory Keepers. And I've grabbed the one. I'll show you how I determined which size I needed. I wanted one that would leave those little openings showing once I attach the circle to the snowflake. And that'll be where I'm going to use to hang the ornament. So I'm going to add my little ribbon there. So I went ahead and die cut 2 of these circles out of the Strathmore cardstock. And using my Festive Berries Distress Oxide ink, I'm going to go ahead and apply that color all over the background here. So I'm just applying a nice even coating of this. And I'm going to do that for both of these panels. So this will be the front and back of my ornament. Now I want to add some extra color around the edges, but I didn't want to introduce another color, so I'm going to pat on a nice thick coating of this. I'm just patting up and down, applying a nice thick coating of that around the edges, and then I'm going to just blend that a little bit, not too much. I do want to leave that center very light. And we'll be coming in a little bit later with some more ink around the edges. So I'm going to do that same thing for the other one here. Now once that's all set, I want to go ahead and spatter these. So I'm going to take a little bit of that ink and I'm going to place it on my glass medium mat. And I'm going to grab my distress sprayer, spritz that with a little bit of water, and with a brush, I'm just going to spatter these. And that's going to give us a little additional texture here. So again, I did that for both of these panels. Once that's done, you'll want to heat set that with your heat tool, just to make sure everything's nice and dry before I attach these two together. Now I can take my ATG 700, this is a permanent tape dispenser, and you can see I can easily go around that circle. And I'm going to just stick these two together, and this is a very strong adhesive. Now I'm going to take my applicator tool, and this just has a little bit of ink still left on it from before. I'm applying some around the edges, and now I'm coming in and adding a little bit more, a little further in here. And that'll take that white edge away and just add a little shadow right around the edges there. Now for the next set of dies, I'm going to be using the poinsettia, that one there, and you get all the little pieces you need to create that poinsettia in the one die, which I love that. And then we're going to be using that little branch as well. Again, this is the Sizzix Thinlits, and this is called the Funky Festive die set. And I've used these before. I love this set. I just think all of his flowers are so fun. And again, with this die here, you get all the little pieces you need. So I am using the Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to color these myself. So using the craft stock from the Ideology collection, I'm going to use the silver, but later we will be using the gold as well. I'll show you a second ornament I made using the gold. So stay tuned at the end so I can show you that one as well. So all I need is that little center. That's it, just that little center out of the silver. And you can see that there. And then those other little pieces go in the center as well, but I'm not going to be using those today. Now using Mowed Lawn and Lucky Clover, I'm grabbing my little sponge daubers and I'm going to ink these up. So I'm applying the Mowed Lawn first all over. And I will give you the information for all of these products down below. And then I'm going to grab the next color here and I'm going to just apply that randomly here and there. Then I'll blend that out. I'm just kind of patting it on, and you do want to be careful because these little dies are kind of delicate. So now I'm picking it up and just adding a little bit more of a shadow around the edges of that little branch. Now with spun sugar, festive berries, and aged mahogany, I'm going to do the floral part. So I'm putting the spun sugar all over. And again, these little daubers just make it easier to do these little tiny images. With the festive berry, I'm just adding a little to the centers here of each of these. Then I'm going back to the spun sugar and I'm going to just gently blend that out. And you can come in from the sides as well if you feel like it's getting too dark. And what I also like to do is just blot it on a paper towel. This is a dry paper towel. I'm just going to blot that off just to take off that excess color. I felt like it was getting a little too dark. Now with the aged mahogany, I'm going to come in again in the centers just a little bit less than I did with the festive berries. And then I'm going back to the spun sugar and blending again. And that's going to give us a little bit of a shadow in the middle of the flower here. So now I want to heat set these as well. So I want to make sure they're nice and dry. And I'm going to do some sculpting here. So I'm using my Sizzix sculpting tools, and I have the sculpting mat as well. And again, I'll give you the information for these down below. And with this set, you also get scissors and another tool as well. So I will list that below. Now to do my sculpting, I like to take the ball end. I'm using the largest one here, and I'm just kind of pouncing up and down. All we're trying to do here is break down the fibers of the paper a little bit, just to soften it up and get a little curl just to bring these flowers to life. This one here, I'm going to use the smaller side of the ball tool, and I'm just going to press in the center there. And I'm doing the same thing here. And again, that's going to add a lot of dimension. Now this tool has like a little scoop end on it, and it's pointy at the tip. And I'm just going to place this on here and just give a little vein down the center of each of these petals on the flower. And you can see that there. I'm going to do that for all of these little pieces here. And this just takes a few minutes, but it's definitely worth the effort. It gives your florals a lot of, brings them to life, gives them a lot of interest. So now I'm also going to pinch right along those little veins that I created. I'm just going to pinch those in. Again, just adding a little more dimension here. And I'm going to do that for all of these. And with this one here, just place your nail right in the center of it and just push down. So now I can glue these together, again going back to the Gina K Connect glue. And I'm going to place the glue on the back of this piece rather than right onto the flower. And I'm just going to position that down. You can use the packaging to determine where to position this, but it really doesn't matter. You can just you just want to fill in this flower. So again, I'm going to add a little bit more glue to the next one here. And then this last little piece will go right in the center. And now I've got that little silver center that we did before. And that just adds a little sparkle here. I'm using the larger ball end just to hold this down and give it pressing down a little bit and letting that dry. You can see that up close. Now this is the snow marker from Marvy, and I love this little thing. I've been using it a lot lately. I don't know, there's something about it that's kind of fun. So you want to shake it really well, and to release some of the liquid, you just want to press it down on your glass medium mat. Just release a little bit before you get started. Just make sure you don't press too hard because you'll get a little more than you bargained for. So I'm going to place a little bit of that on each of the tips of my flower, and I want to give it the look of snow, kind of a snowy effect on all the little petals. So I'm trying to show you up close here. You can see what it does. It puffs up as you heat it with your heat tool. And you just want to move quickly. You don't want to linger too long in one area, and you'll get that beautiful kind of three-dimensional look. Now I'm going to attach the smaller snowflake to the back of the circle here. This will be the back of the ornament. So I'm just going to center that. Just spend a little time here to make sure you center it as best you can. And then I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm coming in with the larger snowflake, and I'm going to center that on the front of the ornament. And again, you can see that those little openings are going to be open so that I can place my ribbon in there. And it also, I think, adds a little more interest here. So I'm only placing glue not all the way up to that point there, because that's going to be hanging over the edge. So I'm going to place glue all around here. And here I'm just trying to line it up kind of the same way I lined up the one on the back, but that's not necessary. But I thought it would be fun to have these two lined up the same way, so that the points would be right at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to press that down, and now I'm going to let both of these sit and dry. And there again, you can see those little openings. So I'm just using my mini MISTI to press that down. Again, you could use a book here, anything you have. So now you can see that those little points do line up on the front and the back, which again is not necessary. I just thought it would be fun. So now I'm going to use these quote chips. These again are from Tim Holtz. These are the Ideology collection, and you can see all the different quotes you get. I love these. And one is, these are the Christmas Noel sets. One is white with red letters and one is red with white letters. So I just grabbed a variety here of ones that I thought might work. That's where my little flower is going to go. And for the greenery, I'm going to cut away some of this. I don't need all of this, so I'm just going to cut off that stem. And then going back to the glue, I'm going to attach some greenery behind these. I'm just going to add this one on one side and the other one on the opposite side. And those are going to fill in nicely. And then I'm just going to turn that over and let that dry. Now I needed to determine which quote chip I wanted to use, and this was, I could have spent all day doing this. This is where I spend a lot of my time, just trying to figure out which one I like best, and in the end I kind of like them all. So I think I'm going to have to make a few more ornaments because that one was really pretty. I liked the Believe as well. I thought that was really pretty. But in the end I did go with the Let It Snow. So have some fun with that. And now I'm just going to go ahead and glue these in place. First, I'm going to add a little bit of ink to this just to finish off those edges a little bit, because it is like a cardboard, like a thick chipboard. So you do want to finish that off a little bit by adding a little bit of color there. And I let it go up over the edges a little bit too, just to add a little bit of softness there. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that in place. And I'm going to put that off to the right as straight as I can get it here. And then I'm going to add the flower. And you do want to put plenty of glue on the back here just to make sure it gets some good places to attach, because that snowflake is lifted up off the circle a little bit. So you do want enough just to make sure you catch enough areas for the glue to hold. And there I'm just going to hold it for a few minutes until it dries. Now I've got these beautiful little droplets. These are the metallic droplets from Tim Holtz Ideology. And these are these beautiful gold and silver little gems. So I'm going to go ahead and place the silver ones, the smallest ones, on all of those little points there. And you can see how pretty those are. And then I'm going to grab the silver ribbon from this metallic ribbon set. These are the Trimmings, again from the Ideology collection. And I'm going to grab the silver, but again, that ornament I do at the end, I use the gold for all of these pieces. So I use the gold droplets and the gold ribbon. So again, stay tuned till the end and I'll show you that one as well. So I'm just going to cut this on an angle so it'll slide easily through this little opening here. And then all I'm going to do here is tie a knot at the top. So I'm just going to wrap that around my finger and pull those two ends through and tie a knot here. And then I'm going to trim away any excess. I also want to add a little bow, and that bow will help to hold this ribbon straighter. So what I'm going to do here is just grab a little piece of ribbon, maybe about 6 or 8 inches, and then I'm going to tie a bow. And what I'm going to do here is just make sure that I slide it down towards the ornament. And then I'll go ahead and tie that bow. And you'll see that this ribbon has a nice texture to it. You're able to kind of manipulate it. It doesn't just flop over, it's got a little substance to it. So it's really easy to tie a bow. So once that's done, I'm just going to snip off those ends on a little bit of an angle there. And then for the back, I decided to add a medium-sized silver droplet on the back just to finish that off. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on the back of the ornament, but I did want it to look pretty as well. So let me give you a closer look at this ornament, and you can see all the detail we have. Now you could change out the circle color. Use any color you like. A blue would be really pretty here with the white snowflakes. Even pink or silver would be pretty. So play around with that, or a metallic paper would also be beautiful. So let me show you the second ornament I did as well, and I did that one in the gold. And again, I just switched out the gold ribbon for the silver and the little gold droplets for the silver droplets. And I did put gold in the center of this flower. The only thing for the coloring I did a little bit different was I didn't use the spun sugar. I used the other two colors and kept that lighter color out. So that gives you a little bit darker flower there. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day. Bye-bye.